Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Dixon. Today we'll be watching a video of 5 ways to make him chase you. This is for the ladies and let's review this video. But before we go to the video, my goal is to get to 100 subscribers this August. Help me get to 100 subscribers. Please go down there and smash that subscribe button. Let's get into the video.
Hi, this is Helena Hart, and in this video, I'm going to be talking about how to get a man's energy coming back towards you again. I've just been hearing from so many women here in my community on YouTube who are in a situation like this. Perhaps you're in separation with the man you love, or maybe a man was coming on strong for a little while, but now he's backed off or pulled away, or he's contacting you less and less. I've been there myself, and I know how painful and confusing it can be. It can really be hard to know what to do and what not to do when you're in this situation. So
she uses a lot of new age lingo, energy, attraction, different kind of things. I think she also used vibration. I don't care. I'm a Christian. All these ones they don't matter. The main thing is you are getting a guy's interest back to you. So let's watch.
I'm going to be sharing both of those things in this video. I'll be sharing 5 mistakes you want to avoid when a man has pulled away or isn't contacting you right now, and 5 things you can do to get his energy coming back towards you, usually stronger than ever before. So make sure to watch this whole video to get those 5 tips at the end. And before I get started, if this is your first time to my channel, make sure to click the button to subscribe to get all of my videos on how to attract the man and the relationship you want.
Do the same for
so
her
the first
if you enjoy
mistake you want to avoid when a man is acting distant or pulling away is you don't want to panic or blame yourself or beat yourself up. And I know it can be easy to do this. Sometimes when something isn't going right in our love life, the first thing we want to do is replay what went wrong or blame ourselves or beat ourselves up. And usually in a situation like this, if a man's acting a little distant or pulling away, it has nothing to do with us. Most of the time, he could just be stressed out or dealing with something else, and men are so single focused. Sometimes time can go by and they don't think about time the same way we do often. You know, a couple days of not hearing from a man we're dating can feel like an eternity to us women, but sometimes
it's not that we don't think of time the same way ladies do. It's just that we tend to focus a lot on moving ourselves forward and more or less pushing ourselves to become better. When we are in relationships, we try our best to commune with our companion, but we don't do it like too frequently because you are family. We keep in touch, we talk, we move forward. So ladies should not take it too personal. If you feel your spouse or your boyfriend is having his own me time, just contact him and see what you can do in his life and don't just assume.
For a man, that time can go by and they don't even realize it. So you don't want to panic. You don't want to blame yourself or beat yourself up. It's so important. And the second mistake you want to avoid is leaning forward and trying to get clarity in that moment when you're feeling anxious or coming from a place of lack or insecurity. Of course, you know, if a man is doing this all the time, if he's constantly pulling away, or, you know, if things get too close, he's constantly backing off or acting hot and cold, of course, you don't want to be with a man like that. So this is for if you're with a really good guy who just maybe is a little clueless or can get busy with something else, and you want to, you know, reattract him and get his energy coming back towards you.
I'm not exactly sure what she's talking about concerning reattracting him. The question is, are you or are you not in a relationship? If you are in a relationship, just ask the guy, what's going on in your life? Are you okay? Can I help? And then he will tell you exactly what's going on. If you're not in a relationship and you want to be playing this tug of war manipulation kind of thing, it will not lead anywhere that's fruitful. So to be honest, just get clarity on where you are. Don't even enter a relationship if you don't know your destination. So I'm guessing she's talking about all these casual kind of relationships where you like a guy, you show interest and all. If the guy has not said you people are going out, I just don't bother with all these things, to be honest.
So when a man is not contacting you right now, or maybe he's a little busy or pulling away a little bit, I know the tendency to want to lean forward and get clarity. But if you're coming from a place of lack, or you're feeling really anxious or insecure, I would say that's not the time to do that. That's the time to lean back and do these 5 tips I'm going to share at the end of this video. And then when his energy is coming back towards you, if you have to have a conversation about it, that's the time to do it. But when you're feeling anxious, I would not advise leaning forward in that moment.
If a guy doesn't want you, he doesn't want you. So stop trying to invent some kind of ways to get him to like you or not like you. If he likes you, he will tell you he likes you. So don't push it.
Say is any action taken from a place of lack or insecurity is always counterproductive. It always leads to more feelings of lack. If you've ever been in a situation where you're trying to pull something out of a man because you're feeling anxious or insecure, usually that conversation doesn't go very well, right? So that's the second mistake you want to avoid. The third mistake you want to avoid in this situation is over apologizing or over explaining yourself. This kind of goes back to the first one, where we tend to want to blame ourselves and beat ourselves up. So you don't want to lean forward and say, hey, I know the last time we hung out, I was acting really needy and I just want to apologize for that. You just want to avoid anything that sounds like that. Again, we're leaning back here. We're giving him space to come back towards you. Then if you had an argument, or if he pulled away because there was some kind of bad situation or fight, if you have to apologize, that's the time to do it. I wouldn't lean forward and just grovel or over-explain yourself or over-apologize in this moment right now when a man is not contacting you or his energy is not coming towards you.
If a man is not contacting you, he doesn't want you. So a man will generally try his best to be nice to you as a person he knows. But men typically don't give too much time to other people. So being a lady it won't give you a pass, because as a guy, I spend little time with other guys, except we have a meeting, except we have an occasion, except we have something to talk about. Then we meet up, we talk, we push through some trials or some business or whatever. But just to talk for talking's sake, it hardly happens. So if you are a new lady coming into my life expecting me to continue chit chat, it will not work. So if we have a meetup and we meet and we leave, you don't have to apologize for being awkward or any kind of thing. I see you as a human being and that is fine. But if you see me as something more, then you just have to say it so that I don't waste your time. But the initial run, I will not more or less tell you that I'm interested. So if I'm interested, I will be the one to tell you. So you don't even have to push your way into or apologize or anything. I will tell you that I want you, I want to chase you. So let's just leave it there.
The fourth mistake you want to avoid is confronting him or giving him an ultimatum when you're coming from this place of anger or frustration. This could sound
How do you give someone an ultimatum when you are not in a relationship with them? Oh boy, I think this video is too broad. Is she talking about someone in a relationship or someone outside a relationship wanting to enter a relationship, or someone in a marriage?
Something like, sending a text that says, hey, just to let you know, you need to really value my time and I don't appreciate you not contacting me this week, or something like that. Now, of course, you can talk about these things when a man's energy is coming back towards you, but you can't force a man to want to pursue you and be in contact. It just doesn't work that way. I know the tendency to want to tell a man, how it is and let him know that that's not okay. And of course, there's a time and a place to do that. I would say it's not when he's acting distant or pulling away. That behavior will just push him further and further away, and it won't get you those results you want. So it's kind of similar with some of these other mistakes. Of course, you can have a conversation. Of course, you can set a boundary. But in my opinion, my experience, the time to do that is when his energy is coming back towards you. And then you're going to do this as a response to something he is saying, right? So responding is a very feminine.
People put too much vague boundaries in their relationships. Are we in a relationship or are we not in a relationship? Yes, we are in a relationship. Okay, you are a little distant. Is there something wrong? How can I help? If you are a helper as a woman, a guy will always, if you are a helpmeet, a guy will always give you that room to come into his life. But if you are not and you are demanding, you have a lot of issues. So most people will be like, okay, I'm the girlfriend and I want him to pay me more attention. You ask yourself, okay, he's a bachelor. Has he eaten? Who cooks for him? Do you once in a while go to his house to clean it up and leave? Or you make sure he's all right? Or how are you doing? Or what do you need this week? Let me help you out. And do you need some grocery shopping? I can go and get that for you so that we'll clear your table. As long as you keep contributing to a guy's life, he will continue to give you time. But if you are not even in a relationship, I will say don't bother, because most men will take advantage of the desperation of women. So don't bother. Identify whether you are in a relationship or not. Make that clear first before you start killing yourself over all these things. Don't do this casual kind of are we in or are we out? No, let it be known and do not put yourself in danger. Contribute to a man's life and he will give you time, his time. I generally don't recommend couples staying together, because then sex and everything will take over all your time. But if your goal is to get married, start contributing in his life the way a wife contributes to a husband's life. I will advise you not to play with your time as a lady. Your goal should be marriage and not this vague, unknown ether of a relationship, whether you don't know whether he wants to get married or when he wants to get married. Identify that he is willing to get married and contribute to his life. By contributing, you get to see him more and interact with him.
And energy quality, leaning forward and trying to figure something out or tell a man what to do, very masculine energy. You want to avoid doing that. It's this energy exchange, right? If he's pulling away and you just keep chasing him, even energetically, by thinking about him and obsessing, there's no tension, there's no reason or pull that he needs to feel to come back towards you all on his own. And that leads me to the fifth thing you want to avoid doing, and that is faking disinterest or playing any sort of game or strategy. I see this a lot in the comment sections of some of my videos. Women say, he's been ignoring me and he just texts me. Should I ignore him now?
Don't play mind games with guys. If you start that, you will lose. He will just play with you and he will leave. He might get what he wants and still leave. If a guy doesn't want you, he doesn't want you.
Should I wait, 3 days to respond? And anything that's a game or some kind of manipulation tactic like that is never going to work long term. Men, you don't want a man to fall for you because of some kind of game you're playing or some strategy or technique you applied. All of this has to be 100% authentic, right? So if he texts you, it's fine to respond. Of course, if you're busy with something else, you don't have to drop everything you're doing and just text him back in that very minute that he texts you. You want to stay with what you're doing while you're doing it. But if he texts you, of course, it's fine to reply. You just don't want to be the one leaning forward and initiating everything in these moments when a man's energy is not coming towards you. So important. So those are the 5 mistakes you want to avoid when a man is acting distant or pulling away. And now I'm going to go into 5 things you can do that will help you get his energy coming back towards you. And it'll also just help you feel a lot more grounded and secure within yourself. And all of these have to be authentic, just like the first 5 I shared. So the first thing you want to do is give yourself a timeline to just not worry about this. I know when we're feeling anxious or urgent and we want to do something to solve that urgency, What's really helpful, I found this in myself and all the women I've worked with who have this tendency, is just to give yourself a timeline. I'm not going to worry about this for the next week. And you don't want to give yourself a timeline like, I'm not going to contact him for 5 days, and at the end of the 5 days, I'll contact him. To me, that's just all about him. That's keeping your focus on him, almost like you're in jail or something, kind of counting down the days of when.
If you're not in a relationship with a guy, don't bother thinking about these things. You give yourself stress. I repeat, if a guy wants you, he will tell you. So I think I can clearly say she is talking about casual relationships. That comes with casual sex also, which I do not subscribe to. So there's a lot of truth then non-truths with her statements and her analyses, but they don't lead you anywhere. If you ask me, they lead you to more brain stress than solution.
When you're getting out of jail, right? And you're not going to be able to work on yourself. You're just like waiting for this time to go by so you can just slip back into the same pattern. It's not going to help you long term. So give yourself a timeline to just not worry about this. Don't stress about it. You're going to do the 4 things I'm about to share, the next 4 things, and it's going to help you tremendously just to feel better within.
In which scenario does this work for people you claim to love? If your father, your mother, your brother, or your sister stops calling you, would you just, I'm not going to think about it, I'm just going to stay on my own? Or would you call to ask how they are doing? If that is the case, then if you and this person are in a relationship, you call, you ask, how is this person doing? You have to do things in that person's life to help that person. The more you engage with that person, the more that person gives you their time. Take for instance myself. I'm more of a hermit. But the people who have gotten close to me are the people who took their time to check on me, to send me food. Not that I can't afford food, but they prepared it themselves and they sent it to me when I didn't ask for it and begged them not to send again. But they kept on sending me food because I am a bachelor. I am the kind of person that's like, stay your own lane, let me stay in my own lane. I don't allow people into my life that easily. So most guys that are on their mission, they are pushing themselves, they are like me. We don't just accept people into our lives like that. You have to do things to break down all our walls. We are not asking you to break walls or anything, as in to put yourself under duress or whatever. It's more or less like you are showing us you care. It's not as if we asked for you to show us that you care, but you are. I care about you. What do you want? What can I do for you? How can I reduce the stress in your life? Then the guy will be like, this person is a human being. Okay, then let me give you my time as a human being. The same way you do it for family, that's the way you have to do it for someone you call your future spouse. So let's stop this manipulation kind of thing. She told you not to manipulate. Now she's telling you to manipulate. That's my issue with all these kind of advisors. Giving you advice, don't manipulate. Now she's telling you to manipulate. Although she's saying, give yourself space, everything is self. Her advice is mostly selfish. The only way for you to get people to care about you is for you to care about them first. Like in the Bible, the reason we love God is not because we did something that made God love us. No, it's because God loves us first. It says, because while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. I'm not sure if I quoted it well, but regardless, the reason we love God is not because of our own works, but because God himself knew that we were sinners and he had to die for us to become a perfect sacrifice. And because of we see the sacrifice that God did for us even when we did not earn it, that is what broke our walls to have the ability to even love him, because we were hopeless. So that same example, you have to do it for the people around you. I want continue this video because I believe what she's saying is too selfish. Not selfish as in bad, but as in objectively selfish. It is for self. If you want someone to care about you, care about them first. Do something for them. Help them and remove problems from their lives. If you have a different opinion, please leave them down below. This is Dixon signing out. Get me to 100 subscribers. Bye-bye.